Hello, everybody. This is Dave from the Compass Alert Service and Trading Room, and getting ready to do a introductory webinar here today to introduce some folks to the Compass system, the Dominator system, and especially the alert service that we produce. Every day we're having some tremendous results with the alert service, as well as the trading room that we have, and we look for high probability trade setup. So we'll be covering all of that here in the about 45 minutes, but we have a bunch of people logging in right now. I'd like to, if you can see my screen and you can hear my voice, if you would just go ahead and put a yes in the question box, so I know that this is coming across okay. The screen you see should say Compass Options Trading Room and Alert Service, and you should be hearing my voice right now. So if you can hear me, please let me know. Okay, cool, thanks. Hey, Arjun, thanks very much, appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, so you can see the screen and hear me, very good. So again, we'll be starting at 4:30. We still got some time to go here, and we've got a lot of people logging in. It's going to be a really, I'm going to try to keep it fairly short. I don't want to take up too much time, but I think it's really important for folks who are trying to become successful traders or trying to improve on their trading results, that you get to see how we do this now with the particular software that we've got and the strategy that we use to produce these results we're getting. And I'll go over the results so you can see how we're doing. We had a couple of really nice trades today. We had a nice trade on Caterpillar from overnight, a Palantir from overnight, and so we've got some good trades going on. But I will go ahead and share all of that with everybody as soon as we get started. So we'll be back in just 1 minute, and we'll get going. Well, I'll be back in. We're going to start in about 9 minutes. We need a lot of people logging in. I want to give them some time. So I'll be back in just a second to answer any questions anybody has initially. Michael, hi. Do I trade the SPY? I do trade the SPY. I have a method I call a SPY super system, and I also trade the SPY off of the Compass system, which tells us when the institutions are in there buying. But it's very specific. I need to have support levels hit and hold, and then have the SPY bounce. I use the 5-minute chart. Typically, I'm not in those trades for more than 3 candles or so, and I call them out in the room, but I can't alert to those. They're too quick to send an alert out on a SPY. You have to be planning on holding it a period of time, and it's much more difficult to trade the indexes than it is to trade stocks, because with stocks you have relative strength and relative weakness that you can lean on. But I do trade the SPY, and I'll call it out in the room when the setup is there. And we have quite a few people that like to trade the SPYs and the Q and the Qs and even the IWM. And some people trade futures off of that. But most of my trades are focused on stocks that have relative strength, relative weakness, that we know the institutions are in either buying or selling. Now, would you say how many times a week or a day do I trade the SPY? Well, probably the maximum number of SPY trades I'll take in a day is 2. I usually don't take more than that. Remember, I'm focused on looking for stocks that I can hold for a bit, a couple hours, 3 hours, or overnight, even for a couple of days. So I'm focused on those. But when the SPY sets up, I'll take it. So, I would say that personally on the SPY trades that I take, I probably, like I said, I took one today. Yesterday I took one yesterday, but I would, maybe some weeks three or four, some weeks 6 or 7, but that's about. I don't take a huge number. I'm not scalping the SPY all the time. I don't scalp a lot because I'm running a room, and I'm trying to find stocks that folks who are want to stay in the trade for a little bit longer. They don't want to trade. In a scalping type environment. So an interesting thing on the SPY, by the way, Michael, I don't know if you've ever traded an index called the XSP. It's XSP. You can trade the XSP as a SPY substitute. The interesting thing about the XSP is if you watch the option prices, they fluctuate way more than the SPY does. In other words, the bid-ask spread will tighten up, then widen, and tighten up, and then widen. And sometimes it'll get really, really wide and then tighten up. And if you get adept at doing that, you can actually get in at a really, really good price. And then when the SPY moves, all of a sudden the bid-ask spread will widen out, and you get filled at a much higher price than you normally would on the SPY. But it takes some nimbleness, and you have to watch those options and pick the right strike price and look for those huge fluctuations. And you have to be careful. You don't want to get caught getting into a trade with a really high premium on the XSP. That's the XSP. I actually do use that as an alternative. It's not as liquid, by the way, which is why the options spread around. But if you trade it correctly, you can make more on it than you would on a standard SPY trade. I got a lot of people logging in here today. Again, we got about another 2 or 3 minutes to go to the open. I want to give as many people a chance to log in as possible, and then we'll get started. And I think you'll hopefully you'll find that this is very well worth your time. I'm doing this. I've had this room open for a year and a half, a little over a year and a half. I actually opened the room January of 2022, which is exactly the month that the bear market started. And so I was trading through a bear market for about 18 months, till just about 2 months ago. And we finally have gotten into more of a bullish market, but the room has had really, really good results. And during that whole bear market, we maintained a little over an 87% win rate. And we made money every month except one. So just this past February was a small losing month, but we've have money profits every single month besides that. So I'm pretty proud of that. It takes a lot of work, and I'll explain to you how we're just looking for the very highest probability trade setups and how we find them. So those are the things we'll be covering. We'll be covering the software that I use to find these, and some of the technical analysis I use to find these, and briefly we'll touch on some of the strategies I use within the room to profit off of these high probability trades. There's several different strategies you can use, obviously, and I try to pick the one that has the highest potential. But some people take straight puts and straight calls, and we do a lot of that. But we also do time spreads over earnings. I do what's called the weekly ATM, which is a strategy of collecting premium, selling premium every week against a stock, selling puts, but having a longer dated put out in the future to protect it and keep the margin down. That works very well. We do some debit spreads using weekly options. So there's quite a few different strategies that we use depending upon what the market conditions are. Okay, a lot of people logging in. Let me just grab a quick drink of water here. And a lot of people coming in. Again, I have in my members of my room get access to all the videos that I have put out, training videos that are about a half an hour each, and we cover some of the strategies we just talked about: the time spreads, the weekly ATMs, using weekly expirations for debit spreads. All of those are all covered in there, as well as how to find the highest probability trade setups and how we find them. And I'll go over that in the presentation. I think it's important, even though it's an alert service, that it's important to know where these picks are coming from. So when you get a trade, I think if you look at the chart, you'll be able to tell that it meets our criteria. Very important to meet our criteria. So I'll give about one more minute here, and then we'll get started. And again, thanks everybody for coming into the room today. I really appreciate the you folks coming in and having your time. I appreciate your time, and I will be very cognizant of that. I don't want to waste it. So we've got another minute here we got a lot of people logging in. Let me just make sure they get a chance to get in, and then we'll start the presentation. Okay, everybody, let's get started. And again, we still got a lot of people logging in, but I don't want to abuse anybody's time. So, and I know if you're a trader, it's the end of a long day for you. Strong market day today in the market. That we had some really good moves today in the market. We had the SPY was up today 3.5 points, 0.68%. Qs were up 0.7%, and the IWM was up 1.24%. The Russell 2000, which is a small stocks, are outperformed both of the other indexes today. So that was pretty exciting. Okay, so let's get started. Again, this is going to be on the what I call the compass dominated trading room and alert service. I have a trading room and I have an alert service, and we'll focus on the alert service here. and how we find these trades and how you receive them. And the Compass Dominator are the two pieces of software that I use to enhance my technical analysis to find trades that are being pushed by the market, and also institutions are in there. So we'll go ahead and do that. All right, so let's get started. Again, I have to do a disclaimer. All the signals and trading opportunities we provide here, orally, written, or electronically, are for educational and demonstration purposes only. The trading is extremely risky. I'm just kind of capsulizing here. Trading is extremely risky, so you should never trade with more money than you can afford to lose. And neither myself or Right Line Trading are licensed financial advisors, so we won't be giving financial advice. All right, so let's. I want to talk a little bit about the market, and what the stock market, what drives the market. Let's just cover that for a minute. And I think most people know this, but these small little marbles here, which should be really tiny, are basically, these are the retail traders. This is folks like us. I think most of us are retail traders. There's millions of retail traders around the world, and we're in the market trying to make money each day. But we don't move the market. Retail traders don't have any ability to move the market. Even big retail traders, they can move. A big retail trader can move a stock a few pennies with a big purchase or a big sale, but they can't set a trend. And that's basically what you want to be trading, is a trend. So who does that? Well, this big marble back here, this is all the institutions. This is Goldman Sachs, HSBC, Morgan Stanley, all the big investment banks, all of the hedge funds, and all of the mutual funds, and 401ks, pension funds that are in 401ks. Those are the people that have the trillions and trillions of dollars, and this is what can move the market in a direction. They can create a trend up or down. They can drive a market up, drive a market down, drive a stock up, drive a stock down. This is where that occurs. And for us as retail traders, if we're just trading against other retail traders and there's no institutional money in the trade, we're just causing chaos and chop. I mean, that's all we're doing, because we're not driving any market at all. We're just trading against each other. So our job is to not be in the trade when the retail traders are the only ones in it, and to be in the trade when the institutions are in there driving the trade. This is really important, because this is what we want to find out, and this is how we trade this. I'll show you exactly how we find how we know the institutions are in there in a trade and when they're not. And that's really important. And just a quick synopsis. I did this last year and the reason I separate the Compass system, which is a system I'll show you, which uses how we find institutional trading, and the Dominator system, which looks at market internals. But the reason I did this was the Dominator system came into being October 1st last year, 2022. So between October 1st and December 28th, using the Compass system only, I was not, the Dominator system would have been neutral at that time. There was no market internals. We had 129 wins and 12 losses for a 90.2% win rate. And when I did lined up the stocks of the trade so that the institutions are in there and the market internals were in there at the same direction, in other words, they were backing each other up, we did 113 trades, fewer trades because it doesn't happen as frequently. 113 wins, 2 losses, 97.4% win rate. Very unlikely to be able to duplicate that frequently, but that's what happened in those first 3 months based on that, because this is the first time I started using that. So I just wanted to show what those systems did, and we'll go into the systems, etc. here as we move along. And again, it's important, and I'm going to show you some results. And this is not to try to show how much money we're making or anything. This is just to show you what consistency we've got with this system, what our consistent win rate work is, and how well we've been doing with this system month after month after month. This was just a tremendous run that we had here. We finished up April with 19 wins in a row, followed by 10 wins in a row in May. So we had 29 wins in a row in the options room and the alert service. And by investing $2,000 in each one of those trades, the profit was a little over $11,000 for 29 trades. A pretty nice. This is one of our best runs, 29 in a row. I don't think I've beat 29 in a row Since then, I'm not sure, but that was a pretty nice run. So obviously I tout that. Now in the Compass Options trading room, this is the actual room itself. And this is the room that we run. This is where the alerts are going to come from. We find these trades in the room, and then we alert them out to the members who can't be in the room, or even if they are in the room, but they can't be in the room because they work or whatever. Investing $2,000 in each trade for March, April, May, and June. This was the results we had. About $30,000 profit each month here. You see it varies around quite a bit. But again, you see the win rate was between 86 and 87.5%. You notice we're not taking massive amounts of trades here. We're looking for high probability trades only. So we had 43 trades in March. We had 40 trades in April. We had 47 trades in May and 43 trades in June. So, people ask me, how many trades a week do you take? I don't know. I'm only taking the highest probability trades that we can find. But those are the results that we had for March, April, May, and June. And that was, I think, a pretty good track record for trading. If you've been trading for a while, you know that's a pretty good win rate. It's hard for many systems to match that. And this is just a copy of a spreadsheet for April. I just want to put this out there to show you some specific trades that we did in April. This was the April that we had, I think it was 19 wins in a row that we just talked about. And this is what they were. We had AT&T, again, 16%, Tesla here for 10.5%. And you can see down, you can look down and see the percentages that we made on each one of these trades. We did have a break even here and win. But this was the 19 winning trades we had, and varied all over the place, but generally running, 25 to 28, 30%. So a pretty nice record, which I'm pretty proud of. It takes a while to put all this stuff together. So I just want you to see what these trades were. We didn't have any losing trades in that whole time frame from April 20th to April 27th. All right, so I put these results again. This is just to show you what the room and what the alert server is producing. I'm going to show you how we find the trades and how you can get the alerts, and how you can actually get some of the software if you're interested in seeing how we do it. And I'm going to go over that. But I do want to just, again, reiterate how we're doing with the system. These were our recent May trades right here. You can see we had 5 losses in here, and a couple of big losses. So this, we had this Ultra Salon gap down against us on news. Same thing with Twillo. But generally speaking here, on this May trade here, we had 37 wins, 7 losses. That was 85. Actually, it's higher than that because I miscalculated, but it's about 87.5%. But these are the trades, and you can see the how we made money on this. This is the weekly ATM that I'll be talking about. And again, Microsoft for 40, Microsoft for 15, Twillo for 46. So all over the level, but we typically, most of these trades you're going to find are going to be fairly short-lived, a few hours, maybe overnight, maybe a couple days, sometimes as long as a week, but generally speaking, no longer than that. These was our June trades. Again, a couple of losses in there, but this was a time spread I wanted to point out. This is on earnings. That was a 40% gain on GameStop. But again, you can I'm not going to go over each one of these. I just want you to see pretty much how we make money and how consistently we make money with our trades. I mean, it's this very, very consistent of trading right here. So again, June, when I said so far, that's completed now. 37 wins, 6 losses, 86% win rate. And we had a weekly ATM, which I'll talk about that strategy. $290 of profit per contract. That's another different strategy, but this just kind of shows the overview of all of our trades and the different strategies we're using for them. All right, and here's July. We're up to the current time now. I just updated this. Today we had a couple of trades in Meta on the 12th. We had one that we traded intraday right here, and then this Meta trade we kept overnight, and we got 40% on an overnight trade. We're in the afternoon, out in the morning, nice 40% gain. We got that on a gap up right first thing in the morning. Delta Airlines, this was a time spread, 29%. And a time spread is actually a calendar spread that we actually sell this week's calls and buy next week's calls over earnings. to capture the implied volatility crush when the earnings comes out. And we had another one on UNH the next day, 33% profit on that time spread. Again, overnight, in about 3 o'clock, out about 9:35 for a 33% gain on that. And then we had a Caterpillar trade that we put on yesterday, and yesterday, the day before yesterday, I think, and out today for 20%. And also Palantir, we get out for a 33% gain overnight. We put this on yesterday, get out today. So these are the most recent trades. So that kind of covers the track record. I just want you to see the track record. I try to be very transparent in here. We take losses, of course. Everybody takes losses, but I want everybody to be aware that every trade is not going to be a winning trade, but every trade is potentially a winning trade because we only take the ones that are the highest probability trades. Okay, so and these are just a list of some of the trades that have come up by alert service, the ones we've done recently. Again, I won't go over each one of these, but you can see that we were making 50% on this one, 30%, 38%, 43%, 45%, 13, 25. These are all alerted trades, and again, $2,000 invested in each one of these, and I just use that as a baseline. You can put $500 in, 1,000. Some people put 5,000 in, but I'm just using something so I can have a baseline to show what the profits are. So obviously, a 50% profit produced $1,000. A 50% profit, produced $1,000 in gains. So that's these trades. Here we had Run, which is a solar stock, Alpha Salon, ACN, Delta Airlines, Baba, Twilio. Here's some more. Dash, this was a nice one. We get in out for 84 cents the next morning. We just held this overnight, and that was a $620 profit. Square, again in the afternoon, out the next morning, a 20-cent gain, which was 30% profit. And Gilead Gold, we entered on gold for 380 and out at 430, only 50 cents, 13% profit, but it was the same day. We were probably only in that trade 45 minutes to an hour. His match, again, this was an overnight, the 30%. DraftKings entered for $1.65, out for $2, same day. Again, 21% profit, but we did it just in a matter of an hour or two. So when we can grab 15, 20, 30% profit during the day, we'll take it. So you can see how we did with all of these trades here. Same day profit in Microsoft, in for 10.50, out for 12.50. TSM in 580, out for 870. This was a big profit overnight on TSM. All right, so let's talk about what the actual alert service is. So the Compass Options Alert Service, it's designed for day trades and short-term swing trades. I'm not doing any scalping. Obviously, you can't really alert on scalps. We're not doing any scalping, but we are doing day trades. And some of the day trades may only last, generally for alerted trade, it's going to last at least a couple of hours. So you get some time to get in and get out. Maybe 2 hours to 3 hours. And then some of them are going to go all day, and some of them are going to be overnight into the next day. And there'll be some that you'll be holding on to for a week. Just depends on the stock and where the technicals are in the stock. But it's designed for obviously day trades and short-term swing trades, which I would define as basically a week or you're generally a week or less, sometimes a little bit more. And again, it's designed for traders who can't watch the market all day. Maybe you can only watch the market for an hour, a half an hour. Just look in the morning, look in at the end of the day. But with each one of these alerted trades, you're going to get the alert for when to buy it, and you'll get an alert for what to sell it at. So you can go in and put your sell order in, and then forget about it. I mean, if we're in for $1, and I say we're going to get out try to set a target at $1.50, you can go ahead and set your sell order at $1.50 and go back to whatever you're doing. And if it gets filled, it'll get filled. You'll get alerted if we have to make a change in that, or if we hold it overnight, we may actually raise the target up the next morning. But you will always be kept informed of what's going on with that trade, as far as if we have to take a loss on it, if we increase the price that we're selling it at, or if we decrease the price we're selling it at. All of that will come to you. And the real-time alerts are going to be done on the highest probability trade setup only. So when you get a trade from the alert service, you're going to know that it's a high probability trade setup. We're not taking any speculative trades for the most part. These are all going to be trades that meet our criteria as far as being high probability trade setups. So what does that mean? The highest probability trade setups are identified by looking to see if there are institutional investors pushing this trade. When we go to take a trade, are the institutions in there buying or selling that trade right now, that stock right now? We won't take it unless they are. We're not going to take a trade that the institutions are not in when we take it. If it's retail traders, we don't want any part of it. And then we also look for market internals, and then we do technical analysis. And the market internals I'll show you in just a bit. It's a piece of software called Dominator that we use that looks for numbers of stocks moving up versus number of stocks moving down on volume and on ticks. And when one swamps the other, then it's very, very important that you're able to that you know that the market internals are bullish. So absolutely, that's what happens. And if you have a bunch of questions, you can go ahead and put them in anytime you want. I'll get to them at the end. These will be text alerts and for that question. So that's how we find the highest probability trade setups. When you get a trade, you're going to know that the institutions are in there. When we take it, they don't always stay in these trades now. Sometimes they'll get in, get out, get back in again. But when we enter the trade, the institutions are in there buying or selling it if we're going to short it. And we know that there's institutional involvement. We know the market internals are in our favor, and we know the technical analysis of that stock is favorable, which means it has plenty of room to the next resistance level. It's close to a support level. You know, we try to buy and support, sell resistance. So that's how these trades are identified, and those are the ones that you will see. All right, so how are the trades alerted? Okay, so you're going to be alerted by SMS message. They're going to come to your cell phone. And one of the sayings we have in the room is to trade the best and skip the rest. I also just not, our objective as traders is not to make money. We make money by taking the best trades and only the best trades. So we're not just trading to take trades. And listen, I know that sounds simple, but a lot of traders, when they're sitting in front of their computer, they feel like they got to be trading all the time. And one of the most important things you have to be able to develop to be a consistently profitable trader is patience. It's really important to be patient. That's what separates the people who just keep trading and end up losing from the people who consistently make money, because they have the patience to wait for the setups to come to them. So what's the alert going to include? Well, you're going to obviously get the stock symbol. So it's going to say Microsoft, for example, option strike price. It's going to tell you what strike price to take. We're going to take the $150 calls. Options expiration date, July 28th, option expiration date, and the price to pay for the option. And that may be a range sometimes. It may be $1.25 to $1.35 or something like that. And so that's what the alert will include. And any kind of comment that I might make on it as to relative to the trade, I'll tell you if it's a time spread. I'll tell you if it's a weekly ATM. Now, sometimes I'll put the sell order price with the original buy order, but not usually. Usually I wait to see what the market's doing and see what that stock is doing before I actually send out a sell order, because I want to see what the price action looks like. I want to see if we've got any kind of problems with the market. I mean, it's very important to trade with the market. One of the criteria I use is if the market's bullish on the day, we're going to be just trading longs. I'm not going to be trying to take shorts against the market. But the market, if it's choppy, sometimes it'll be moving up and then it'll start moving down. And I have to make a determination of where's a good profit target here. And that profit target is going to be based on not just the stock and its price movement, but also what the market's doing. I mean, the market drives 75% of the stocks anyway, so it's important to know that. Now, the exit price, when you get it, I'll specify that you want to do a GTC, or good till canceled. You want to have good till canceled on the sale price, because a lot of times, especially like on time spreads, you want to have that trade working when the market opens in the morning, because a lot of times we're waiting for a change in the implied volatility, price, with trading over earnings. And as soon as the market opens, a lot of times the spreads will get really, really wide. And if you have a sell price working, when the market opens, a lot of times you'll get filled, and you might even get filled at higher than what your price was because of the widespread. It happens quite often. So you want to have good till canceled on your sell orders. Okay, so again, I want to talk about how we get the results that we get here. And stunning results, they are stunning results. I mean, I've been trading a long time. The win rate we got here being at between 85 and 90% is pretty hard to match. With regular just trading puts and calls, it's very, very difficult. So we'll go over that. And I'll tell you just a quick story about, people ask me all the time, how did you happen to become a full-time trader? Well, I was a part-time trader for a long time, and I tried all kinds of services. I was trying to learn how to trade options, and this was about 14 years ago. And I was learning how to trade, and I got pretty good with technical analysis. And I was, making money, losing money, making money, losing money. But the funny thing was that I was working in IT at the time, and I got laid off from my job. This was 14 years ago. Laid off from my job, and my boss said, things are slow, but we'll give you a call when we come back again. So this was in December, and just before Christmas, a couple of weeks before Christmas. So I said, well, that's fine. This is a good chance for me to start trading full time, and I started trading full time. And I was trading full time through January and had really, really good month, and half of February really, really good half a month. And my ex-boss called and said, well, things have picked up, things are looking good. You can come on back next week and get started again. And I told him, I said, I appreciate that, but I can't afford to come back and work for you anymore. I can't do it. This is going too well. I'm just going to continue to trade. So that's kind of a funny story of how I get into trading full time. I was kind of forced out of my job and went to full time trading. It's quite a change to go to full time trading from part time trading. Believe me, you're leaning on that for your income. But I was forced into it, and it really worked out pretty well. And he was kind of surprised. So anyway, this is how do we get back on the track here? How do we get such stunning results? Well, we are able to identify, using our compass system, when institutions are driving a trade and when the market internals are heavily bullish or bearish. So obviously, these are the two things we want to do. Trade. We're only trading to basically copy the institutions. We want to ride the institutions' coattails. So we only take trades when both of these are in our favor. Now, that's really not completely true, because if the market internals are not heavily bullish or heavily bearish, but let's just say they're neutral. If the market internals are neutral, then I'm going to lean on the compass system. I'm going to lean on institutions. I'll trade stocks when the institutions are pushing them, even if the market internals are just neutral at the time. Not bullish, not bearish, but just neutral. Now, I won't take a trade long using institutional buying if the market internals are bearish. If there's a lot more stocks going down than going up on volume and ticks, then I won't take it. I'll just pass the trade, because I don't want to be trading against the market internals. But I will take trades that have the institutions buying and the market internals will be neutral. And again, we look to trade the best and skip the rest. That's it. Okay. So how do I find these trades? And I'm going to show some charts. I'm going to show you how we find them. We're going to talk about this for a bit, but we find them with two different systems. I use a system called the compass system and a system called the denominator system. The compass system is the system that we use to identify stocks that are being moved by institutional buying and selling. This tells us when the institutions are in there. It also identifies stocks that don't have any institutional buying or selling. So that's important, because if a stock's not being moved by the institutions, I don't want to trade it. Again, if the institutions aren't in the trade, who's driving the trade? The retail traders are driving the trade. What happens when retail traders drive the trade? Chaos and chop. You just everything looks good and then it just falls apart. So that's how we find the compass system to tell us that the institutions are driving the trade. The denominator system lets us know what the market internals are. Now, market internals are different from from the institutions. Market internals tell us if there's, let's say there's 600 stocks going up on up ticks and up volume, and there's 100 stocks going down on down ticks and down volume across all of the indexes. That tells me fairly clearly that the market internals are bullish. There's 600 stocks to 100, so you got a 6-to-1 disparity. Now, a lot of times it'll be like 300 and 300 or 400 and 400, and you don't have any disparity. And the dominated system will show you that there is no precedence for or any bias to the bullish side or the bearish side. But when we do have a bullish or bearish bias, then it's really it's important, because once we've got that and we've got Compass System lined up as well, we've got institutions buying at the same time the market internals are buying. That gives us a very, very high probability trade. Okay, so how do we find this? How does the Compass System find these institutions? How do they know that the institutions are in there? What we use is what's called a triple screen assessment. Now, a triple screen assessment is a complex way of saying we're looking across multiple time frames. So we're looking across multiple time frames for momentum. So we're looking at momentum on the current time frame and 2 others. We're looking at trend on the current time frame and 2 others. We're looking at money flow in the this current time frame and 2 others. And we're looking at, it's called quant. And the quant's a related instrument. So what a quant is? A quant is if we're looking at Microsoft, the quant indicator on Microsoft is going to tell us how many, or basically how many stocks, if there's, let's say there's 50 stocks that trade with Microsoft, or 20 stocks that trade with Microsoft 70% of the time or more. It's going to tell us whether those stocks that normally trade with that stock are also going in the same direction. And that's pretty important, because if you're in a stock and it's the only one in the whole group that's moving up, and everything else is moving down, you don't really have any. You're not going to have a quant confirmation on this, because they're not. Those other stocks are not moving in the same direction. Usually, if you get a stock that's moving up strongly, Microsoft, Nvidia, or any of these, then other stocks that normally trade with that are going to be going in the same direction, because the institutions are buying them all. They're buying all those stocks. They're buying the ETFs that those stocks are in. And so that tells you that the stock's moving up, and that there's other stocks in there. But when you look at all 4 of these particular indicators, and you look at them across 3 time frames, current time frame and 2 other time frames, the chance of a stock moving up bullishly with all 4 of these things lined up, if the fact that the chance that that's not being pushed by institutions is extremely small. This is giving you a very high probability that the institutions are driving this trade. So that's how we know that the institutions are in there buying or selling. So this is what the Compass System identifies. We're looking for that trend, and we're looking for that trend as being produced by the institutions. Now, the dominated system, we call it new. It's almost a year old now, but it's looking at the market internals for 5 indexes. Right, so it's looking across the Dow, the New York Stock Exchange, the triple Qs, the SPY, the S&P 500, and the Russell 2000. So it's looking at all of those indexes, and it's looking at the number of stocks moving up on up volume and upticks versus number of stocks moving down on down volume and downticks across each one of these indexes. Then it looks at the individuals, and then it looks at them across the whole platform of all of these indexes, and it's going to give us a buy signal or a sell signal if the disparity between stocks moving up and stocks moving down is big enough to justify a buy signal. There has to be, or a sell signal. There has to be a big disparity. Now, if you've got a mixture of this, like the Dow is only 30 stocks, so the Dow is only going to be indicating what 30 stocks are doing. So this could be down, but if you've got the New York Stock Exchange, the Qs, the SPY, and the Russell with huge disparities of buying, and the Dow is down with stocks being sold off, you're still going to get a buy signal, because it's looking across all of them. But I can look and see exactly what each one of these indexes is doing individually. Let's say I'm in Nvidia. I'm very interested to know what the Qs are doing across the market internals. So again, when there's a large disparity, 500 moving up versus 500 moving down, the software will create a signal. I'll see that signal. I'll look at the compass system. I'll be looking for different stocks to see if they're also moving in the direction I want. So this gives me some confirmation of what I'm looking for. And again, I use it in conjunction with the compass system to identify even higher probability trade setups. Okay, so I'm going to show you some charts that's going to show the compass system and the dominator system. The compass system I run on Thinkorswim, and the dominator system runs on Ninja 8. And I'll show you how we find these. Now, you're going to see. I'll go over some of the indicators on here. I'm not going to try to go over the entire compass system. It would take too long. I don't want to tie up everybody all day, but I just want you to see how. I want you to see where these picks are coming from and how we find them. And so when you get an alert or you're in the room, you're going to know where these trades are coming from. So now this is one on Disney that we did yesterday. All right, so this is Disney. Now, if you look at Disney here, this is the compass system, and these are the 4 indexes I talked about. These are the most important ones here. This is momentum on the current time frame, which you see this is a 5-minute chart on Disney. This is the compass system on a 5-minute time frame. This is a compass system on multi-time frame, 5, 15, 45. This tells us this, and as back in here, you notice how red this is. Obviously, red and yellow is bearish, green and blue is bullish. It simplifies it, but it's calculating a lot of information to come up with that. So this was Disney, and this was early in the day. And this pink line right here we have on the TOS system, Thinkorswim, is called the VWAP. And I won't trade stocks long, or I won't trade stocks short that are above the VWAP, and I won't trade stocks long that are below the VWAP. So I need to go short. I need to have it below the VWAP. You can see Disney was below the VWAP. You see all the red that's on here. So it had a very, very bearish setup. Obviously, the institutions. This tells me that the institutions are selling Disney furiously here. It's across the board. But what I did was I waited. You see this compression? I waited until we get a breakdown. I'm kind of waiting for the stock to move. Now this thin red line here is the 15 EMA. This is the 15 EMA coming down. Stock's compressing. You see this indicator right here. All right, this was what's called a pop out of the box signal. This particular indicator shows up on the compass system to tell me that this stock is breaking down through compression. There's the compression. So I can see this on the compass system. So I know now that the system is selling off. Now the dominator system happened to be all red at this time as well, showing a sell signal across all the indexes. So we took Disney short right here, and it pulled down and went sideways and then pulled down again, and we got right here, and we made about I think 20%, 25% on that stock. But this is the indicators that told us it was good. Now you see these green candles in here. How can that be when the institutions are selling? It can very easily be because the institutions, when they're selling off, don't necessarily continue to sell every single candle. I mean, they're not just doing it continuously, but the overall abundance was sold. This is retail traders trying to pick bottoms and thinking that it's going to go back up again. But we stayed in it because the system told us to, and down we went. And this is we got out right here on this big pop. And you see this turned blue at around here around 11:30, and that's the telling us now that the institutions on the current time frame are not bearish anymore. They were still in multi-time frame, they still were, but in the 5 minutes they were backing off. So I don't want to be in the trade anymore. Right, so that's Disney from yesterday. All right, so this is Verizon from yesterday, another short, and we did those are the 2 shorts we did yesterday actually. Now Verizon, it looks very similar. This was the market open. You see that's riding along the volume weighted average price, the VWAP right here. The 15 indicators coming down. Here is your pop out of the box signal. It's coming out of obviously it's coming out of compression. Pop out of the box signal. What is the compass telling us? Telling us that the institutions are selling this thing like crazy. I mean, there was a big gap down in Verizon, and they were selling this off like crazy. And you look at it on the chart and you say, oh, this thing has gone too far. I can't take this trade now, but we can, because institutions are selling off. we get a pop out of the box signal, we jump in here in Verizon, and we take Verizon down and take it down and take it down and take it down and take it down, and we get out right around here. That's about an hour in Verizon. Doesn't look like much. It's around $33.20 down to about $32.40. But in Verizon, that's a huge move because the options are really, really inexpensive and very tightly spread. You can get like a 2-cent spread on the bid-ask spread on Verizon. So it's easy to, on something like this, it's easy to grab a 20, 30, 40 cents on an option that you only paid maybe 90 cents for, $1.10 for, something like that. So this was a very nice move for us in Verizon yesterday. Now we also played a stock long yesterday. This is UPST, and again you can see the colors down here. Now right here on UPST, right at about 11:05, you see this. You see how this when it went from yellow to blue. This is bearish to bullish on the current time frame. Momentum current time frame just went bullish right here. Now the multi-time frame was bullish all the way along. But this is where we get a switch which says, okay, here comes the institutions coming back in to buy. And it's sitting right down close to the 15 EMA. So you could buy it almost anywhere in here now. And then it goes green. So now you can just buy this anywhere in here. And I think we actually get in about 11:05, pulled back on us a little bit, and then moved up, and it was moving up pretty steadily. And we kept this on for a couple of hours. This was actually a pretty nice trade for us. We get in at $7.20 a contract, and we get out at $8.70 a contract. $1.50 profit per contract on that particular trade on UPST. And again, you can see we're just trading with the institutions. The institutions were buying UPST, so we want to be buying UPST. That's why we stayed in that trade. Now I have one other chart on UPST that I want to show you something. Now this chart, these candlestick setups right here are it's called, these are Fibonacci candles, and I don't know if you're familiar with Fibonacci candles, but I use them to do confirmations of entering a trade. If I want to enter a trade, I like a confirmation. Now you can do that on standard candlesticks, but Fibonacci candlesticks make it easier because a Fibonacci candle is made up of 2 candles. So when you get a Fibonacci reversal, which I'll show you here in just a second, that's an automatic confirmation that the stock has reversed to that level or to that direction. So here you see with these Fibonacci candles, when you're getting wicks and tails, you don't really have a reversal. But if you notice here, you had a wick and a tail on this candle. That's a doji candle, but you got a wick and a tail. See here on this candle right here, you see how we get a flat bottom? That tells me that we've got a flat bottom on here. Now notice we went from yellow to blue on the compass system. This tells us we went from institutions not doing very active in the 5-minute to being very active in the 5-minute. And along with that, we get a Fibonacci reversal candle. This tells us now that this has been confirmed to reverse to the upside. So we jump in the trade right there. Now you see, you keep getting flat bottoms, flat bottom, couple of dojis, but flat bottoms continue for the most part, and in the compass system remains green, blue or green all the way across this whole period of time right here. So you can stay in this trade all the way up, and we stayed in it right up to here, and then we started getting a little bit of momentum loss, and we had quite a lot of profit in UPST right here. So we got out of the trade right up in here. But again, I just wanted you to see what Fibonacci candles, how we use them, and I actually have a video on Fibonacci candles, what they are and how we trade off of them. But there's a Fibonacci reversal right there. This big green dot right here, it's called an acceleration dot. The compass system puts that on the candlestick when the institutions are maxing out the Laguerre momentum indicator, which is the one we use for our momentum. They're maxing it out it goes from 0 to 100. They're maxing it out at 100, and you can see it stayed on this all the way up. And it was even here over here. So we had a lot of buying. So that's the UPST trade off of standard candlesticks and off of the compass system. The Fibonacci candles off the compass system. So those are the recent trades we had from yesterday that I just wanted to highlight. All right, so this was a trade we took. This one I mentioned in the results. We had it overnight and we had it intraday. And you look at the green on the compass system here. you can see we're starting right from here that the institutions are buying Meta. And again, this is a daily chart. So the institutions are buying Meta across the board. But you notice how compressed this stock is. It's just compressed, not moving much. So we get this shaded area right here. The compass system creates what's called a dynamic compression zone. This is a dynamic compression zone. The compass system identifies as it breaks out of the dynamic compression zone, then you buy it. And what we did was we bought it here on the intraday chart, and then we held it overnight, and this is the pop we got the next morning off of this dynamic compression zone, pop to the upside, took our profits, and then it's just kind of moving sideways now. So this is Meta, and again, this is the compass system showing us that the market that the institutions are in there buying this stock, and we want to be in there with them. All right, so we'll talk about a few more charts. I'm going to go over these, and I just kind of want you to get familiar with what I'm looking at to send these trades to. I think it's important. Some people maybe not, they don't really care where you get the trades from, but I think a lot of people have asked me, how do you find these trades? And I want you to, when you get an alert, I want you to be aware of where they're coming from so that you can have some confidence in the system. So here's SPY. Here's a trade we took on SPY right here. As again, you can see we've got yellow and red. It's coming across under the 15, under the VWAP. Here's our pop out of the box signal. You go take the SPY signal right here. This is somebody who was asking about trading the SPY. This was a SPY trade we took right here, and we wrote it down right here. And we get out. I think I got out right here on this green candle. Might have been on this green candle, but I was out of it before it turned blue. You see how it went blue here? Goes from red to blue. Institutions are not selling anymore on the current time frame. They're still selling across the older time frames, but this is the time frame that's going to change first, and I'm out of the trade when that happens. So that's the SPY, and you can see how easy it is to spot the selling that's taking place. Now, this is our first introduction here to the dominator system. This is the dominator system on the SPY, all right? And this was similar to the last trade we had in the compass, but this is the dominator system. Now, a couple things to notice on the dominator system. You've got a background color here, which is really important. The background color this is pink. Pink is bearish. Green is bullish. This is pink. So this tells us that the SPY has this background color is being created as a multi-time frame trend. So we're only looking at a trend over multiple time frames. So this tells us that it's bearish. Okay, so it's bearish, and you see we got these sell signals on it, and here are the market internals across all of the indexes. Sell signal here, sell signal. You just write it down. I mean, it's just telling you that this market is short. The institutions we know the institutions are selling it. We saw it in the compass system, and you can see that they're selling here across the indexes. So you go ahead and go short. So that's what we did on the SPY there. And I just want you to see that. And these are some additional trades that we've taken, and this is really just to expose you to the charts and how they look. This is Netflix. Here is a breakdown of Netflix, a short right here. This is where we get in. I put this little white arrow. Again, below the VWAP, pop out of the box symbol. The stock is breaking compression. Take it short, write it down. Compass system is all red. You see how it went from blue to yellow right here? That's a bearish change in the composition of what the institutions are doing. Then you write it down, and we get out right here. And we get a little bit of chop. We took profits. Once you get the profit, we took a 20% profit. So nice. And again, this was SPY for a 3-point drop here. You can see the dominator system went from black, which is a neutral background, to pink, which is a bearish background. This is where we get in right here as the stock broke down below this little compression zone. Get in here and pull down. You see how far it went down. It's a 3-point drop on the SPY. $250 per contract on that SPY. And again, notice you see the institutions. You see the market internals, bearish, very bearish, going from green to red, telling you the market internals have gone bearish. And we would line that up with the compass system to tell us that the compass was telling us sell as well. We went ahead and did the SPY trade on there. Tesla, this was an interesting trade. This was a while ago. But again, you can see the same information. See how the current time frame here is blue, bullish. yellow, bearish, breaking below the 15 EMA with a pop out of the box symbol, I take the trade and it goes right down and we get out right at the end of the day. Really nice move down to the end of the day on Tesla. And we notice it stayed red all the way. And here's Tesla. We also did another trade when we actually held it overnight. We held it overnight. It indicated that it was weak here at the end of the day. See how it's broke below the VWAP, and you notice that everything went yellow or red. And so we took an overnight trade on this, anticipating a gap down. Who knows? But we did get a gap down. It dropped from 120 to 112, and our puts exploded, and we stayed in the trade till right down here later in the day, about 11:15, and that was about a $7.5 gain on the puts on that on Tesla. All right, this was Zillow, same thing. You can see the and again, the whole point of this is to show you how I'm finding the trades. Look at this compass system showing us that everybody's selling. The institutions are selling Zillow like crazy here, right? So we get in here. This wasn't a great trade. We didn't make a lot of money on this trade. You can see that it stays red, but there's a lot of compression, a lot of compression. And I think I just got bored with all the compression over here, and I took the trade off. But I made a nice profit on it. But you can see there was a lot of compression, even though the institutions were selling. Remember, institutions selling doesn't necessarily mean it's going to drive the price immediately. Just like market internals doesn't tell you that the price is going to move immediately. It's just telling you what the direction is likely to be right now or soon. This was Oxy. This was a trade we took off a dynamic compression zone. You see the dynamic compression zone right here. See the big gap up? We took this as a day trade. On this gap up on dynamic compression, everything is, the institutions are all buying it. You can see that. Not difficult to see that they're all buying, and that was a daily chart on Oxy. Here's the Oxy 5-minute chart. This is where we actually took the trade intraday. Stock price moving sideways along the 15. We get a pop out of the box symbol. We buy the stock as buy the option as the multi-time frame and the current time frame indicator all go blue or green. We buy it here and we write it up, just like that. Not real complicated. I mean, the systems are telling us what these stocks are doing. And again, not every single one works. You're going to get some that are going to reverse on you sometimes. Now, this was Tesla. This was a beautiful one. These are Fibonacci candles on Tesla. Just want to show you what nice Fibonacci can do for you. This 5-minute chart. Here's a Fibonacci reversal right here. We had a little red candle here, then a reversal, and up the stock goes. Flat bottoms, notice flat bottoms on all these candles, all the way up until we get out right here. This was a really nice trade. All right, another one on the SPY, and I don't want to take too much more time going over when I can show you these trades, forever. There's so many nice charts we use, but this was SPY. This was a short in the SPY on the compass system. Goes from blue to yellow. That's the indication of the institution selling. You can buy it, and you just write it down a few candles, take your profits. And Meta, this was another nice one to the downside. This was earlier. Took a downside as it come out of dynamic compression. We actually intraday traded this right here, made money on that. Notice the candlesticks, the momentum indicator went from blue to yellow. Down it went. So pretty easy. I mean, it's really pretty easy to see how we find these trades to send out alerts on. I mean, really, really important. This was crowd. Here's another one coming out of dynamic compression here. And again, went from green to yellow. Market institutions are selling, down it goes. And again, they're coming back in, buying again. But we weren't in this but just a couple of days. And that's a daily chart. And IBM. So I can go on with these for a long time, but I'm taking up a lot of time on this. So I don't want to do that, but I just want you to see how easy it is to find these biases on stocks to know that the institutions are in there buying. When you get multiple colors, they're not buying. When you've got mixed like this, they're not buying. It's just you get some buying, some selling. You don't want to be in them. This is where you want to be, right here. And you get a nice pop up in IBM. This was QSR, and I show this for a reason. This was popping out of a box with a nice day chart right here. Okay, you can see we went from yellow to blue, up it goes, then it goes to green. That's the daily chart. Is the 5-minute chart. This is where we get into this trade. Notice it's riding along. See the colors changing here? red, blue, yellow, and there's just, it's all mixed. Now all of a sudden we go to green, and it pops out of the box above the 15 EMA right here as it popped green. This is where we would get in the trade, and we rode this QSR trade up here, and then we get out right here. You know, it's about 45 minutes or so. Now here was the same QSR on the dominator system. This is how we knew that the market internals were also in our favor. You notice how we're getting buy signals here. We got a green background. Market internals telling us that the multi-time frame trend on QSR right here was bullish. So anywhere in here you could get in, because the compass system was telling you that it was green. Now, if you wanted to wait until the indicators, the dominator told you that there was a buy signal, you had to wait till all the way over here. I wouldn't have waited for that. It's neutral here, and the compass system is green. I'm going in, but this is where you would get the most very highest probability trade setup. So that's QSR. And another one on SPY, I'll just skip past these. Again, it's the same setup. Pop out of the, indicator breaking below the 15 with a sell signal. Down we go, and you just stay in it till down here. But that's a SPY. You've got to be fairly quick on these. And another SPY. This is another trade on the spade here. SPY. This was a bullish trade. You can see the background went from pink, bluish to dark green. This is definitely a buy. The index multiple, market internals are all green. Get buy signals. By the SPY, and up it goes. Really nice. You see the buy signal staying here. I want you to notice something here. When you see these buy signals still showing up, and the stock coming down, even though the institutions are in there buying, this is retail traders picking the top again. You see what happens to them when they do that. They come in, they buy the stock, and they sell the stock, and then they get run right over again. All right, Netflix, another good one, and I'll just skip past some of these so we can get to the meat. I don't want to take up everybody's afternoon. All right, so this is another SPY trade again, the compass system, and you see how it was green all the way through here through the day, and then it opened red the next morning. But all of these, this is how we find all of these trades. We've got scans that look for these, and it's a beautiful setup. Same thing with the SPY there. Okay, so let's talk about the what we're offering and what we can do here. It's again, we have the compass alert service. Now the alert service is what I explained. It's going to send you alerts to your phone with the stock symbol, the stock price, the option price, whether it's a put or a call, the expiration date, and the price to pay for it. So you're going to get that, and it'll come to your cell phone. For the summer special, it's $9.97 a year. That gives you the alerts for the whole year, or $2.97 if you just want to try it for a quarter. They're all going to come through SMS alerts. If you sign up as one of the first 10 today, you'll also get a month, 1 month in my live trading room, the Compass Options room. You'll get the Masterclass series, which is all the videos I told you about. You get to see all of those. It'll tell you how these trades are created. It'll tell you about the different strategies. Goes over all of the things that we talk about in the room and all of the different types of trades we take. And you learn my secret ingredients. I think I just told you most of my secret ingredients. And now, if you're interested in the software itself, I mean, a lot of people like to actually find their own trades or trade themselves. I always did. And the Compass system, if you're interested in that, the investment on this Compass system is $9.97 annually. And it comes with the market scanner for that first year. You'll get the scanner and any new scans that we add. You'll get the live trading room access to my room for 1 month. And then you have the room subscription is $149 a month after that, which is actually pretty cheap considering what we get. And you get the Masterclass series, and you'll get all of that. And the other one is if you want both the Compass system and the Dominator system, which is like the ultimate to tell you whether to get the very highest probability trade setups. Again, $14.97 annually for both the Compass and the Dominator system. And of course, you'll get the market scanner for a year. You'll get live access to my room, and you'll get the Masterclass series. And these two together would be installed by the Rightline folks. The tech at Rightline, most likely Sergio, would take over your machine, install the Compass system and the Dominator system if you have them both. Dominator system goes on Ninja 8, and the compass system would go on Thinkorswim or on Ninja. You can actually put it on either one. I use it on Thinkorswim, and they'll put that on your system for you. It doesn't cost a thing. They will do all take care of all the technical issues that would occur with that, so you don't have to worry about that, which is really important, because there's always there can be technical issues. You don't want to have to deal with it. So those are the three things. Again, you got the alert service, you've got an annual subscription to it, a quarterly subscription to it. Again, that would be SMS alerts to your phone. And again, anybody who signs up for first 10 will get the live trading room, my live trading room, which is live every day from about, I'm in there from about between 9 and 9:15 until 4 o'clock. I trade all day long. A lot of times we're just watching, but I trade all day long, answering questions all day long. You also have access to a Discord room. We have a Discord room where we have two really professional traders, Savvy Trader and Dr. No, who actually will answer questions, do some audio in there. They also post charts of high probability trades that they see, because no one person can see all the high probability trades that can pop up. So that's comes with the service as well. So that's the alert service, which a lot of people like, and they really like this. We have a lot of folks in this alert service. The compass system would be for the software, and again, your investment is only $9.97 annually for this. It's going to come with the scanner, access to my room for a month, the masterclass series on all the training videos that we offer, and again, the compass system and the dominator system together, $14.97 annually. So that's both of those. So that's the offer for the alert service and the software for anybody who's interested in that. And I'm going to take a look at some questions here and see if we have some questions. Kurt's asking if I have any trades more current than that. I mean, I posted all my current trades at the beginning of the webinar that I had, and the first four trades I showed up here on the charts this morning were from Friday and Monday of this week. So that was pretty current. Ian, what's the main difference between compass and dominator? Well, that's a good question. They're completely different pieces of software. They're looking for different things. The compass system is looking for what are the institutions doing. Now we're looking for institutions that are pushing a stock higher or pushing a stock lower. We only want to trade stocks when the institutions are in there. Now the market internals is looking at the number of stocks moving up on up volume and up ticks versus the number of stocks moving down on down volume and down ticks. But that particular criteria is going to tell you whether the market internals are bullish or bearish, but it doesn't tell you whether the institutions are in there buying or not. Now, if you get a huge disparity, generally the institutions are in there, so it's sort of confirmation, but it's not really telling you whether the institutions are in there buying or not buying, because it's only showing you the number of stocks moving up on up volume and up ticks versus the number of stocks moving down on down volume and down ticks, but not whether the institutions are in there doing that. Can I talk about the ATM strategy? Sure, Jeff. The weekly ATM strategy, let me kind of capsulize this. And again, if you come in, you'll get a video on the weekly ATM strategy, what the criteria is to find them and how we use them. So the weekly ATM strategy is a strategy that is meant to collect premium by selling puts every week on a stock that is neutral to bullish, going sideways, going up, neutral to bullish, that returns a specific percentage premium every week. I have to have a certain premium that I'm going to get on an option to make it worthwhile. And while I'm selling those puts every week, I meanwhile have a long put somewhere 6, 8, 10 weeks out further in time. That's just sitting there as a protection. So I've got a long put as protection, and I'm selling short puts against the stock. So I might be selling a 70 put every week or this week, and I might have a 65 put that's 8 weeks out that I'm holding as a long. what that does is it gives me protection in case the stock gets ripped to the downside. Then I can just ride the long put down and make money. And it also cuts down on the margin I need, because my cost of my margin that I need, my risk on the trade, is only the difference between the two strikes. So that's how that works. And I just keep selling them. So it costs the stock, of course, the stock would have to have weekly options in order for it to work. You have to have weekly options, and you just keep selling the weekly ones and try to sell it right around at the money. That's why I call it a weekly ATM, WATM. And I like the name ATM because it's also more like an automatic teller machine. When these things are working, you're just collecting time decay week after week after week. So I hope that clears it up. There's more details to it than that, and I have that in a video, but I wanted you to understand what that is. Scott, do I use a scanner to find stocks? I do. I have 2 or 3 scanners in Thinkorswim. I also use TC2000, where I have a scanner there, and I'm looking for stocks all the time. Got a lot of people in the room that are also looking for stocks with scanners, popping them in the question box, and also the folks in the Discord room are running scans, looking for the highest probability trades, because it takes a long time to find the highest probability trades, and we need to have all these criteria in place. But yeah, I do use scans. I don't just arbitrarily look for stocks. I mean, I'm always looking at the SPYs and the Qs, but I'm looking for specific stocks. Are the alerts ever sent by email? Not now. They go out by they go out by SMS text alert. You could ask Rory about that, about emails, but right now they go out by text alert. How many setups can one expect day, week, month? You know, Peter, as I said at the beginning of the broadcast, it's very difficult to tell how many high probability trade setups are going to be. Today, because the market was very bullish, there was tons of them, but you got to just try to find the best. And you want to be careful not to be trying to chasing stocks. When you find a high probability trade setup, it's very important to be patient and wait for that stock to get to some support level if you're going to go long, and then confirm at that support level and then start to go back up again. That's what you would take it. But I don't recommend chasing stocks like Momo stocks, racing in and just chasing them. Like Microsoft went up strong today on news. But it's hard to chase that. You want to wait for it to pull back, and it did. They generally will pull back and then get a better entry point. But you know, how many trades? I don't know. I mean, since last, the alerts have I put out I think 6 alerts since last Thursday. Some days there won't be any, some days there'll be 2. In the room, a lot of times we're calling out other trades besides the alerts because they're too quick, like SPY trades or something we're going to get in for 2 or 3 candles and then get out. Ian, you're welcome. Why can you not incorporate the 2 systems into one system? You're talking about using the compass system and the dominator system together. You probably could do that on Ninja. I don't know. I don't use it. The problem is that there's a lot of computing that goes into each one of these. The dominator system takes up a massive amount of computing. The compass system takes up a massive amount of computing. If you try to push them all together and run them on one platform, it could be pretty. I haven't done that, so I don't know. I mean, I suppose it's possible, but you still need to look at the indicators separately. Is this being recorded? It is, Patrick. It's being recorded. You'll get a copy of it. Will be available. Yeah, you'll get, if you signed up for the video for the webinar today, you will get a copy of the webinar sent to your email address. Is the compass system also useful for bonds, ZB, or slow-moving futures? Sure. I mean, listen, the compass system is really pretty versatile. The compass system will work on any instrument that you want, because it's going to look at what's happening to what institution is doing with that instrument. Now, the dominator system is not going to work on something that isn't in one of those 5 indexes. I mean, if you're trading something that's not in part of those 5 indexes that we have, like any kind of FX or anything that's like wheat or pork bellies or something like that, it's not going to work on those, because that's the market internals are looking at those 5 indexes, not looking at that. But now the compass system will look at everything. It'll look at any commodity that you want to look at. You can look at gold, silver, pork bellies, you know, anything that you want to look at. US dollar, you can look at bonds. You can look at all of those things, and the Compass system will tell you what the institution's on that doing on that particular instrument. Our SMS alerts sent out to non-US phone numbers. I believe the SMS alerts will only go to US and Canada. We can talk to Rory about this. We might have an alternative for folks who are outside the country to get on the alert service and have them come to them by a different route, like email or something like that. But I don't want to do a lot of emails because you know you were trying to keep this efficient. Can you show a case where the trade went contrary to the alerts? Oh, I probably not off the top of my head, but let me think. I'm trying to think if we had any today like that. Let me drop this down for a minute. All right, so let's see here. This is an NVIDIA. So we had an alert here. That worked. Just looking to see, NVIDIA was pretty strong today. Let me see about Microsoft. I'd have to, I'm just kind of trying to cherry pick here to find out. See, when you see this kind of action here, see how you get yellow, red, blue, yellow, red, blue. You don't want to be trading here. This is Microsoft, and this is not, there's no institutional buying here. Back over here is institutional buying. You see this move up here from 11:30 this morning in Microsoft. This was the news that came out, and you see how strong that stayed, and you see how green everything stayed here all the way through that. Here's a pop out of the box, pop out of the box. Now this signal here was a bearish one, but even though you've got a yellow indicator here and a pop out of the box to the downside, two reasons you're not going to take this stock short. It's powerful today. The thing is up massively, and you're above the VWAP, so you wouldn't take it. But yeah, I mean there'll be cases where the indicators will be off. I mean, it looked like the institutions are in there buying, and then all of a sudden they pull right back out again, or a news event comes along. I mean, that can happen. I can't find any right now off the top of my head, but you know, here's a Lockheed Martin trade late in the day here today. This is this morning. Pop out of the box to the downside. You see how nice that is? See, this went green to yellow right here. You get a little blue, but just one box, just one candle, and then it keeps on going down right out of that, and you just follow it down. So that's a Lockheed Martin to the downside. And here's where you would get out. You see how it turned black to blue. So I don't, you know, I'm not going to tell you that these indicators work perfect all the time. There isn't any indicators that work perfect all the time, none at all. So it's very important to understand that nothing's 100%. We do 85 to 90% pretty consistently, but nothing's 100%. Things can happen, and things do happen. So yeah, just beware of that. Let's see if I can. Okay, so and one thing I forgot to say, if you're at least been interested, if you're interested in getting some more information on this, you can put your phone or your phone number and name, or your Skype address, site name in the chat box, and Rory will contact you to answer any questions you have, or just call you one time to see if you're interested in answer questions, to see if you're interested in that. The Compass system, Compass alert, mostly only calls and puts. Yeah, well, I shouldn't say all. Yeah, we have time spreads, a lot of time spreads over earnings. And earnings season is coming into full swing here. So we do a lot of time spreads. We probably do quite a few time spreads, but it's not 50% or anything. I would say probably 60 to 70% of the trades, straight puts, straight calls, maybe 10% of debit spreads, maybe 15% are or more are time spreads, and then we have some weekly ATMs, which we also trade. And then I'm going to, since the market is turning bullish, I'll be doing some put credit spreads. The kind of trades that you use, whether you're using a debit spread, a put credit spread, whether you're using straight puts, straight calls, whether you're using weekly ATMs, time spreads, all of that depends on what the market, what the market texture is. What's the market doing? When you go from 2022, when you had a bearish market all year, you're not taking any put credit spreads. If you're taking put credit spreads, you're getting killed. You can't be taking put credit spread there. You're mostly just going to be taking intraday puts and calls and longer term puts if you're swinging. Now we're back bullish again. Now we can take put credit spreads. We can do weekly ATMs. We can take long calls. We have a lot more flexibility. How early do the SMS alerts come in before taking a trade? Well, as soon as I identify a trade, I put the SMS alert out right then. A lot of times I'm watching the stock for movement before I take it, like we did with Caterpillar and like we did with Palantir. You know, I'll watch it, and in the room I'll say that this is a stock. We talk about the stocks. Here's a stock. This looks a high probability trade set. We're waiting for an entry level. As soon as we find the entry level, then we're going to take it. Now, I'm not going to alert a stock a trade that I think we're going to take, because if we don't take it, then you may get in the trade when you shouldn't get in the trade. So I don't put the alert out until the trade is viable. And as soon as I know it's viable, I put the alert out and I take the trade. And again, if it's moving really fast, it makes it a little more difficult. That's why I'll give a range. But it's pretty quick. It's pretty quick. When I'm in the trade, the alert goes. I'm on the alert service, so I can see how much lag there is. I don't have hardly I only have like a 3-second lag in my alert. These indicators available on any other platform other than Thinkorswim. They're available on Ninja. Put them on Ninja 8. I think they actually go on Interactive Brokers. I've never done it, but I think they can go on Interactive Brokers. But that Interactive Brokers is pretty complicated. But they do run on Ninja. It's called Money Flow Tracker on Ninja. They call it Compass System on Thinkorswim, but it measures basically. We're always measuring the same things. So Robbie, listen, thanks very much for your number. Rory will get a hold of you. Appreciate that. Okay, Mohan, get your number too. Appreciate that as well. Date expiration on short-term puts and calls would only be days out. No. Not to go into a lot of detail on my strategies. I typically, when I buy puts or I buy calls, I'm looking for in the money puts, in the money calls with deltas of around 65 to 70, around 70. I'm buying in the money, and I'll usually go out a couple of weeks at least. It's occasionally I'll take this week's call. If I have earnings coming up or something, I'll take. I might just take a weekly call. But generally speaking, my debit spreads are based on the weeklies. But anything I take today, for example, for calls, I'm going to be out at least till probably at this point at least till August 4th. I'm going to give it some time because I don't want, if the stock starts to go against me. Here's the thing: I'm aligning my daily chart with my 5-minute chart. So if I'm in a trade long, I have to like the daily chart. The daily chart's got to be bullish. And of course the 5-minute chart will be bullish. Now when I get in based on the 5-minute chart, if the stock goes against me, but I still like the daily chart, I want to be able to stay in the trade overnight or over for a couple of days. I don't want to get forced out of the trade. So in order to do that, I've got to go out in time to minimize the time decay that would occur on the puts or calls if they expired this week, for example. So I'm always giving myself more time. I don't mind paying the extra price to mitigate any time decay. No, thanks for your number. Appreciate it. GM, thank you very much. Peter, you're welcome. I think that's most of the questions. A lot of great questions. So listen, I really appreciate everybody coming to the webinar. I hope you found it useful and interesting. Again, the alert service, $9.97 a year, $2.97 a quarter. Again, we're maintaining a really high win rate on this. I have for the last 18, 19 months. Again, I'm not a professional presenter. I'm a trader. That's what I do. I trade stocks, trade options and stocks, mostly options. But worked to develop this system over years and years, and I really enjoy helping people to try to become successful traders. I had mentors when I was learning how to trade, and I think it's important for everybody to have mentors. But you want to be mentored down the right road. It doesn't help to have a nice ladder for a mentor and have it on the wrong building. It's really important to understand that our job is to trade the best, skip the rest, and our objective is not to make trades, it's to make money, and that's what I intend to do. Again, I take all of these trades that I call out or send to you on the alerts. I take all these trades myself in my real money account. So if I lose, if you lose, I lose. I'm losing as well. So Barry, Compass SPY super system means Compass and Dominator. Yeah, the super system of Barry I use the Compass system to look at the SPY, for example, and the SPY has to be bullish on the Compass system. I need to have institutions buying the SPY, and then to add to that, I need to have the Dominator system be bullish with the market internals. I need to have a buy signal on the SPY on the Dominator system on the market internals. It needs to be green, and I need the SPY to be coming off some sort of a support level, like the VWAP or the 15 EMA or some significant support or resistance level to get in. In other words, the trade's got to be taken, buy at support, sell at resistance. One of the high criteria I put on high probability trades is to try to take the trade when it's as close to support as possible to cut down the potential loss on it. So yeah, that's what the SPY super system is. It uses both the Dominator and the Compass system in combination. And you need the institutions buying it, you need the market internals bullish, and you need a decent support level that it's coming off of so that you're getting in early, because the SPY can be extremely volatile. Not something I can alert on, but something that we can use in the room. And if you want to try, I have a lot of people that trade the SPY and make these kind of trades, but the SPY super system, those trades are going to be fewer, of course, because that particular setup is not going to occur all the time. Okay, I think probably Rory has a link in the chat. Yep, it's got a link in the chat to the special offers that we've got right here. So I hope to see a lot of folks on the alert service. I hope to see some folks in the room with me. And there's my dog telling me it's time to call it a day. Everybody have a great afternoon. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate your time. Okay, you're welcome, everybody. I'll see everybody hopefully in the room tomorrow morning.